podcast that everything was fine, but now I listen to this podcast because I've lost my mind. My gym partner's a podcast. My gym partner's a podcast. Yeah.
Bullshark porcupine. I don't know what. Doing this podcast is paining
Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy.
my heart. This show hurts me emotionally.
Aww.
Hi everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of My Gym Partners, a podcast. And today we're here to talk about Chew on This and the A Word, which are episodes of the show.
They suck, monkey.
No, don't say that. I think they are good.
Okay,
No,
so
They're good in a classic sort of way.
So here we have a conundrum. Renee is very upset at these episodes, and Gert, on the other hand, finds them acceptable, I think.
Don't get me wrong. They're not great. Their messages are very bad, but I feel like they stand out as relics of the time. And like, I know the show itself is that it's a relic of 2006 or wherever, but these two episodes, this set, they just have a feeling of just that era.
Oh yeah.
And it's very unfortunate, but also it's just okay. I have a picture of Jake Spider Monkey crying up on my right now. It's really distracting me, so I gotta close that out really quick. But yeah, it's I think there's something. I'm going to enjoy talking about them.
I think there's a lot to be
Alright.
said about this set of episodes, and I think they're just perfectly paired with each other. Like, couldn't have
Oh,
picked a better
yeah.
pairing here.
Yeah.
The troublesome twins in a horror movie. Listen, all right.
Yup.
I gotta put it out there. These two episodes are so awful. I know. We prefaced
How
the last
awful are
episode.
they?
They're so
Yeah,
bad.
what makes
they're
them
so,
bad?
They're so bad. Watching them both back to back made me feel really uncomfortable, and I had a tightness in my. You know, it's like.
Here's what I'll say. I'll say this. I'll do a slight little warning just because there's a lot of this first episode deals with food and weight in a comedy sense. So if that stuff is sensitive to you, as it is to me and many others, maybe just fast forward a little bit until the next episode, which deals with slurs.
Yeah.
So pick your poison, or don't. Just don't listen.
Okay.
Hey, y'all.
Don't tell him not to listen.
So right off the bat, y'all notice this show really likes to poke fun at groups of people. Like I'm not like not like, you know, I guess greater grand like it just kind of feels like it likes to like find specific like groups of people, like, you know, like
You know,
it's called
stereotypes.
stereotypes, yeah.
You know, we witnessed in the first episode the animal activists, which, like, that joke that was just put in there, you know, for no other reason other than to let's make fun of like animal activists, I guess. You know, just
Yeah.
have that
Make fun of
joke.
nerds.
You know, the
And
kids
you know,
will
yeah,
watch.
yeah, and I was gonna say not to, you know, like make like nerds like, you know, an oppressed group, but like
Okay, let's just get right into it because I feel like we're gonna run a little long on this if we don't. So Chew on This is the first episode of this set, and we start out in the lunchroom, and Adam is going to get his food.
as most episodes do, the lunchroom is just the genesis of it all, isn't it? It's where it all begins.
Yeah, so he's like, you know, going through the line, and what's in the lunchroom is like dirt sandwiches and like mud cakes and stuff
They
like
they
that.
got twigs and berries and
Because
like,
that's what animals eat. They eat fucking dirt. And
There's
just
no meat. Like, the only meat there, I have to mention, is just bugs, like grubs, or like just little worms, and like what they call wormy joes. But there's no actual like steak, you know, raw meat. for the carnivores.
Yeah,
So like,
I wonder if they discourage the carnivores from actually eating meat so that they don't get a taste for it and like attack the other students.
When I was watching this, my roommate Will, for everybody who's listening, was watching this with me, and when he saw Jake Spider Monkey, somebody that he hasn't seen in a very long time, he said, and I quote, "He looks like the devil." And
well,
I
he
just
is.
wanted to add that in there because I feel like seeing him enjoying food really evokes like this, like, I don't know. He's like a primal gluttony.
So Adam gets like, he's like, you know what, I forgot my lunch today, I'm not gonna eat dirt though. So he goes back to the lunch table and he's like sad about it, but he's like, whatever. And Jake says like, wow, come on Adam, why don't you eat a wormy Joe and be somebody? It's like,
And have a wormy Joe and be somebody.
it was so sad for Adam because like everyone on the table is like eating and enjoying. You got Slips, you got Windsor, you got Ingrid, you got Lupe. They're all like eating their fucking dirt.
and he forgot his lunch. And like, a common thought that like a thought that I had and that other people we were watching with had was like, why doesn't he bring his own lunch? Which I think it's mentioned later in the episode, like as a one-off line. It's like, oh, I just forgot my lunch today.
Yeah, he forgot it. That's why he had to go to the lunch line to begin with, because otherwise he wouldn't have. So this leads him to kind of being like, what? I guess I'm just not gonna eat lunch today. Anyway, it cuts to the gym, and finally,
just keep in mind,
cuts to the gym, and then we get a nice little shot of like everybody doing their stuff. We see Slips holding Windsor's feet.
Yeah, Slips is being so nice here. He's like, come on, Windsor, man, you can do it. Like he's encouraging him.
Awesome. I was
just
like,
one more.
When I saw that, I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, Slips is so into encouraging his friends. So
in this miasma of just but yeah, one thing I want to know is, is there no gym equipment made for animals? Because like you're seeing a montage, you're just seeing like a slow pan throughout the gym where like the animals are like doing their exercising thing. Some are like doing well, like skipping rope fine. Others are like Lupe. There's just a shot of Lupe hitting one of those like punching bags, but like she hits it with her body and then it just slams her back into the wall. And it's like, I gotta wonder, are there no like animal made equipment? Can't they have like tire rope swings, stuff like that, like animal friendly stuff?
Well, Principal Pixie Frog wouldn't want to pay for it. Like, that's not in the school's budget.
Yeah, they got all their stuff like secondhand from like a human school.
I'm pretty sure Charles Darwin Middle School is just like a repurposed human school that like had a bunch of mud and rocks thrown in it, and then that made it for animals.
So this is exciting because we see Jake and Adam in gym class together. Yes, that's right. Being gym partners.
Wow. We should just end it right here. This is the finale.
Yes,
that's
we
it.
Made
we
it.
don't need to watch anymore.
So that's why episode I guess technically like 5 we get to see them be gym partners.
Yeah, they were.
Or maybe they were gym partners before that. Do we see them as gym partners in another episode? My mind is hazy.
The only time they've been like in a sports activity was the football episode, so no.
Okay, and that's not technically. That's not it.
No. So we have they're being gym partners, and Adam is like, he's struggling to do like a pull up or something, and it's just like, because he's Adam, he's a scrawny little nerd, and Coach Gill is here, my favorite character, and she's just like, come on guys, we only have so long until like our physical or something, like physical report.
What I don't like, it's like supposed to be like the fitness grams test, like like the national like exam for like but like I hate how Coach Gill like just walks in, goes to Adam and is like, What are you doing? Are you gonna make us lose the fitness gram test?
It's like, what?
Like,
Can you lose that?
I mean, you can do like it's supposed to be like a measure of like how well you're educating your students on like physical fitness or whatever. So like it's not necessarily that you lose it. It's not like a competition or a
like,
contest.
Yeah, and that just messed me up. It's like, that's not a way to encourage a kid. It's just,
Once again, Coach Gill being very
Coach
unencouraging.
Coach
Gill's
Gill
the
doesn't
thing.
have that many friends.
Yeah, so
We'll get to that. Yeah.
so Adam's just like, sorry, Coach, I just am feeling a little faint because I didn't get to eat lunch. And Coach Gill's like, what? You didn't eat lunch? Oh my god, are you okay?
Yeah, and she goes into a full-blown panic, and this goes into like, she's just going, cold blue, cold blue.
Yeah,
This kid's feeling lightheaded. He's overexerted.
And they take him to the nurse.
Yeah, and
And
then
then-
he goes to the nurse.
Then leads to like a cycle of vicious like sort of montage of like being passed around that just it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, so when he's at the nurse, he's like, I didn't eat anything because there was no human food, so I didn't want to eat it. And she's like, oh my god, you haven't.
Yeah. Fair warning here.
She says eating disorder, and she like freaks out. And then he's in the counselor's office.
Which,
Whoa.
what a fucking thing for them to
They just straight up say it. They just straight say it outright. And,
They say
like
the
a-
kid has an eating disorder. Code blue, code blue.
Send him to the guidance counselor, who is like some type of monkey. And the guidance counselor is like gently like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, you okay?
Weren't you
You don't want to eat like the school lunch. Let's rap about that.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Sorry.
Adam, throughout this, like, it's not like Adam's fault that like this is like going through, and I guess it's a message on like, like the school system, like sensitivity or something about like, like kids like with special eating needs, but
Yeah.
like we'll see later how like it's handled in a frustrating way, a really frustrating way. But anyway, so Adam's like, I don't want to eat this animal food. I want to eat some human food. And then of course Mr. Mandrill, the counselor, is like, oh no, he's going on a hunger strike. Cold blue, cold blue.
Which is like the appropriate thing for a counselor to assume.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And just announce it, yell it, and just pass him off to the principal. And then we see him passed off to Principal Pixie Frog, where he's like, Adam, I see you don't want to eat any of our school cafeteria food. And he's just like, I just want to
yeah,
eat.
man,
It's
I
like,
told you.
no, I don't want to eat dirt.
I don't want to cause any trouble. Like they're like presenting this as a joke of like the school's like overreacting, I guess. But like it feels so bad because like Adam is just like I don't want to cause any hassle. I just want to be able to eat some human food, But like Principal Pixie Frog, of course, being like the cheapskate awful principal that he is, he's like, give him whatever he wants, he's gonna sue.
Yeah, so immediately because of this, just like, and this is like a really fast sequence, like it goes like nurse, counselor, principal within like less than a minute. And the next day he comes into the lunchroom and he's like, oh my god, look at what's on the lunch menu. It's like corn dogs, pizza, like hot dogs, fries.
And I want to try a new bit real quick.
Okay.
So that whole entire little sort of like line of events. Let's rate how funny it was. Was it hee hee or was it mm-mm?
It was
It was ah! I give it a Tom scream.
Yeah, I forgot to. Yeah. Ah! Yeah, it gave me a bit of Tom vibe.
But we're in the lunchroom and he's got human food now. But the strange thing is that they've replaced all of the food with human food. Like, there's no more other food.
Like, they didn't offer it as like a separate offer. They didn't offer healthy human food. Like, their solution was like to not to like accommodate Adam, and like have like add an option for human food. They replaced the entire menu with mind you, fattening human food that is unhealthy: pizza, corn dogs, hot dogs, hamburgers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was supposed to be kind of just a like legit commentary on how back at the, I mean, even still now, like lunchroom food is really unhealthy and like bad for you. But
this wasn't the way to go
no,
about it,
because
Scoob.
they go about it a very bad way, because he's like, oh boy, hot dogs, corn dogs, and he gets it on his plate and he's all excited and he goes back to the lunch table and everyone is just like,
they're like, I'm not eating this shit. Slips is like, I wish I could eat something that I get to kill.
Yeah,
like,
Slips is hardcore.
Well, like, that's how like snakes are. They like to like, they prefer to eat live rodents. But like, you should, fair warning, you should like, feed your snakes, frozen mice instead of feeding them live. They might enjoy it better, but like, it could harm your snakes. Just, a PSA.
PSA for all those snake owners out there. Yeah, everyone's kind of like, no, I don't want to. And Jake even is just like, no, this looks gross. I don't want to eat it.
Why can't I get some grubs or like some, worms or something?
Yeah, there was one bit that made me have a little when
Are
when
you talking
Jake...
about the fox?
No, I was going to say a little bit where like Adam was just like, this grub looks great, and Jake was just like, I wish we still had grubs.
Or some larvae or maggots or something edible. But I also like right before that, there's like an instance where like it's showing off the human food, and a fox walks in, is like, well, what kind of sicko would eat a corn dog?
Oh yeah,
and that presents the question, this is a very contradictory like school. Like, I understand they're like just offering like pizza and stuff for simplicity's sake, so that kids don't question like, what do the animals eat each other? Do the animals eat meat? Do they eat their friends? So like they just like pass it off as like, oh, it's just regular human food, quote unquote. But I have the question of that we saw before in the montage. There was an ant student. There was like,
yeah, that was the bit that made me laugh when they were in the gym. Bull Sharkowski's there and he's got like a ball and he just like looking, throws it as hard as he can at an ant.
And then he goes
at an ant student, and like
that's the first, isn't that that's the first like voice that we get for him?
What, Bulk Sharkowski?
Yeah.
No, he was in last episode.
He talked before.
Remember he was in Ding Bang's episode.
Yeah.
I guess
but yeah, so there's a problem here of like they wanted to present the other food before, like the animal food, as like, oh, there's no meat here, it's just like bugs and stuff that like, the carnivores can eat, they can get their meat. But are there bug students? Are there worm students, larvae going to this school? How do they feel about the school lunch?
Well, worms and larvae, there's probably like a class, right? There's like
oh no.
Eventually there's like a certain point to where the intelligence stops. There has to be. There can't be just. We can't just keep going and
we're
going.
We're going to get to an episode where an amoeba talks, or like a worm like talks, and it's like, don't eat me, or something like that. And then we're gonna have to contend to that with that.
we're gonna have to think about it.
Jake's
we have
murderer.
to think about it because they didn't.
So Adam is like, come on, guys. Like, come on. Eat the food. Come on, just try it.
Didn't somebody say don't knock it till you try it? And he's like, has this really shitty look on his face.
And Jake's like, you know what? Fine. I'll eat the dang pizza. So he eats it, and Jake, he loves that pizza.
Yeah, Jake is all about that pizza. But not only Jake, everybody for some reason.
It was really
Well,
funny
like,
because
you
like
know,
Jake eats it, and like I think Ingrid says like Jake likes the pizza or Jake likes the food, and then they
Yeah,
all
because
start
it's
eating.
like, Jakey likes it! Jakey likes it!
and then they all start eating it, and they all think it's good, and then like, Jake eats Adam's food, of course, so he has to go back to the line and ask for more, but like they're fresh out already. So I guess everyone at the same time realized, oh hey, this stuff's good. This stuff's good eats.
You know what I don't understand? This is the second day that, like, there's food. Like this is the second lunch day, so you think at this point Adam would just bring his own lunch,
You would
but
think. I guess he keeps
but he,
forgetting it.
I guess
No, no,
so.
I
Like,
guess it's just like, he heard the promise of like human food, and he's like, oh, I guess I don't have to bring my lunch.
yeah, but like they're like animals deciding this. Like,
Yeah,
that's really a gamble, Adam.
and I really like, please, I want to keep this discussion in here. I want to talk about this, where like the one of the things that really peeved me about this episode, aside from the obvious, which we'll get to, but one of the things that really peeved me off is like Adam's like, oh come on, why don't you want to eat this like human food? This is the human staple diet, and it's like, you idiot, you child. I know he's a literal child, but like, didn't your mom ever teach you you can't feed your pet table scraps? You can't feed your animals human food. It's not healthy for them. They'll die.
You're giving
It's
Adam way too much credit here. He doesn't know shit.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything. He just goes like,
I suppose so. I suppose, but like, then that brings about the question, like, do like these sapient animals who are like on the intelligence level of humans, do they have to have their own agency in deciding whether they eat this food that could kill them?
Well, it doesn't.
It doesn't kill them, but
so I
I'm
guess
telling
it's
you, it
okay.
would.
Listen.
well, why do you think it would kill them?
Because it's just unhealthy.
Why don't you let them enjoy it, huh?
Yeah, they want pizza too, Renee. Stop being so stingy.
Yeah, why
like-
wouldn't you give an animal pizza? I mean, if they really want it, like,
it just really like squicked me out just seeing this, because like I just wonder, did the kid like decide like, oh, the animals, they like the food, I'm gonna feed my dog Benji some table scraps.
Benji.
I'm gonna feed my dog a whole pizza.
so anyway, Jake unzips his fur, and and that comes off.
Yeah, so they're all eating, and
He
also
unzipped
Adam
his
doesn't
fur.
get to eat even now because everyone ate all the food, and and Jake's all like, woof woof, I'm stuffed, gotta make some room, and he reaches down to like his waist, and he unzips his fur, and he's like wearing underwear. It's
A classic joke.
Wait.
what?
Does that mean his ass is fake?
Let's not question it.
Is
Oh
it
my
just
God,
a
it's
show of like? Is it just like a garnish, like on a like a? Is it like a fashion statement? What the fuck is it? God,
It is
like,
fake.
does
Oh my god.
He actually had underwear though. Like,
Yeah, did you not remember?
I just remember being like shocked at just that like little gag because of how disgusting it made me feel.
It's
There are
funny.
gags in cartoons where like animals take off their fur as clothes, and that's a funny quick gag. But this, it felt so labored for some reason. Like this zoom in on his like just like stomach,
On his
is like
belly.
he unzipped his fur.
I think the reason why I was not
I've
too
never
into this gag.
tasted heaven until now.
I think the reason why I wasn't too into the gag was because I was already dreading what was gonna happen next, because I could like foresee the future of this episode, and lo and behold, it's been, I guess, a day or so, maybe a week. There's not really
one day.
okay, there's not, it doesn't feel like there's been a clear establishment of past time, but I guess it's just been like a day, and everyone, and I mean everyone in the school, is now overweight, incredibly so. Like, triple chins, just huge, bloated. Oh, poor Slips. He's like.
Slips is a circle now. He is no longer a snake. He is like an orb of reptile.
We've done it, kids. Ding, 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 ding. We got it to the lightning round, folks. We got to the weight gain episode.
There had to be one for a show about animals at a school.
Yeah, it's a big like the jokes are all, as you can imagine, just about how fat everyone is and how like incapable they are, and they're rolling around everywhere, and Adam's just like, wow, what's with these? Oh, to get a load of these guys.
Adam looks the same, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, Adam, because he still hasn't eaten.
Yeah, Adam just hasn't had anything, I guess, in these last
No.
few days.
He did eat some, like, at the very end, like, after that, he met up with Principal Pixie Frog, and it's like, you know, oh, I just want a corn dog, I don't want to sue. And then Principal Pixie Frog's like, oh, give him whatever he wants, don't sue. And also, Principal Pixie Frog, of course, is enjoying the corn dogs.
Oh yeah, Principal Pixie Frog has been just like completely like he goes and congratulates Adam.
Yeah, he's like,
says,
thanks for this.
He's like, thank you so much for
let me find the exact words he used. Like, thank you for replacing our healthy animal food with like just like he says like a lot of like words in a row that
he says like trans fats and like insulin triggering like
yeah, he does say that.
Empty carbs, insulin triggering carbohydrates.
Yeah, so it's basically just that and then we get like a kind of repeat scene of like the gym situation from earlier, except everyone's fat, so they can't do it anymore. Like, I guess Bull Sharkowski has lost all ability to walk, and he's like laying on a mat, like with his...
like...
And Slips is still just encouraging Windsor to
try
do a sit up.
Yeah,
still just Adam with that, come on man, you can do it.
And so we pan over to Adam and Jake. Adam is still like regular. He still can't do a pull-up though.
No, still can't.
Yeah.
The corn dogs didn't help. But and Jake is just like on the ground eating a whole pizza. It's like his tail is just a bunch of sausage links now.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate the way they represent his tail gaining weight. They did not have to do that. It is gross. Really fucking gross. Don't like it at all.
Anyway.
Bad visual gag makes me sick.
It's just like, it's bad, and this is where I started to just kind of like lose focus, because it started to feel like there's only one way this is gonna turn out. Adam's gonna have to like do something,
save everybody.
Yeah, and like get them to stop eating the food. He's like eating at the lunchroom, and he's got like some tater tots or something, and then everyone's like, "Give me your tots."
Oh my god!
Lion's not gonna eat his tots.
Yeah,
everyone
gets in on this. Like the school children, the faculty, like
everybody's just hounding this boy for his tots.
So he's with his
Principal Pixie Frog scooters on his like little scooter.
Oh, on his jazzy. Oh, it's not good.
It's bad.
He's like, give me those tots. I call Principal's rule on them.
And Adam, as clever as he is just like, I'm going to use my physical superiority to win this fight. So he climbs.
Yeah, he climbs
really
a rope
easily.
Yeah, well, even though he couldn't do a pull-up earlier, he starts climbing up these vines, and he's like holding his tots
because
out.
you gotta show up like, you know, how physically fit he is from also eating these corn dogs and pizzas.
Yeah. Well, you see, I guess it's like, you know, his metabolism. Maybe he's just able to like metabolize.
Well, he's a human.
Better. He's a human. He eats this food.
Yeah, and I think that the other animals had a problem with just like eating too much of it, and because it was
Yeah.
like a new thing. Oh, let's all eat it, like
Yeah.
all of it.
They all became representations, literal representations of gluttony.
God, this is the gluttony episode. Um, yeah, so he's like climbing, and he's like, and then like as they're like pulling on the vines trying to get him down because they can't climb, they're too fat, blah. And so they're pulling really hard, and the ceiling starts to shake. And Adam,
I think we can't just skip over them saying like, "Well, pull the ceiling down to get those tots." It's just like, holy shit! Like, they're trying to cave in the school to get him down. Like,
To get like just one additional morsel is
it's
horrible.
really fucked up.
and they're pulling it. Adam's like, hey, like, if you don't stop, like, we're gonna all get hurt from the ceiling collapsing, and then we can sue. And Principal Pixie Frog's like, oh no. And he's like, stop, everybody stop right now. What do you want? We'll do anything you want. And he's like, I have an idea. And then it cuts, and we're back in the lunchroom, and everything is back to normal. Still no human food though.
Principal Pixie Frog wanted the tots though before any of this happened.
Yeah. So like all
And Adam
So
was
the-
like, "Oh well, I guess I got to," you know.
and he tosses down the tots, and then Principal Pixie Frog's like, "Oh, yummy!" But then everyone, of course, like piles on him.
So,
And I think if this was a realistic show, he would have been dead.
instant.
Probably. Anyway, the final scene, we see everybody running because, you know, get some exercise, you know?
Slips is
Yeah,
rolling
because
around.
the
That's
fitness
this whole-
gram.
The
They gotta get
fitness.
the gram, and then like so all the students are running. Adam is just like pulling Jake on this wagon.
Nick is whipping Adam.
Yeah,
This part was really funny to me because it's just like Adam, he's like straps around his shoulder, and then he just gets like whipped. And you slide over, and it's Jake like on like a makeshift chariot, just like.
Why did Jake? So I kind of wanna count the number of episodes where Jake's like character design gets altered to fit like a joke, because I feel like that happens a lot in this series.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
A lot.
Adam
And-
too.
And like, I'm just really like, God, the way that he looks like I don't know, like a kind of like an old god.
An old god. Yeah, his tail is I think the worst part for me because it's just like chunky. It's really bad. But
Yeah, he's like, Adam's like pulling him, and Jake's like, "Come on, you gotta run, so I can lose this weight." And then Adam's like, "No, that's not how that works, Jake. You're on your own here." Like, why was he like pulling him in the first
Yeah,
place?
why did Adam agree? Like,
how did we get to this point?
Did Jake slip those things on him without him noticing, like
I
the
guess.
harness?
But and then
Adam's just a good friend, I guess.
Jake is like, no, Adam is like, this looks good for you. You gotta run. And then Jake says somberly, "You know what's good? Corn dogs."
Wah wah.
Wah, wah.
And then it ends, and then it's over.
Oh wait, no,
it-
it's not over yet until
It-
the.
Like, so the school, the faculty like come in as well, behind the students, and Principal Pixie Frog's going on about like the faculty insurance physicals are coming up. Our insurance fees are astronomical as it is. And then Nurse Gazella's like, "That's not the only thing that's astronomical." And then we
it
get
looks at
like
his-
we get an iris out on his butt, a butt-shaped iris that pinches his butt, and like Principal Pixie Frog, echoing our sentiments, is like, "I think we get the point."
Yeah. I love the way it squeezes his butt. Like, it really just like gets a big like
I'm sorry,
handful.
this joke was so good.
It was a funny
It was
joke.
just like I love just. That's not the only thing that's astronomical.
Like, it's just such a joke, you know? Like, it's just like, I just understand it completely.
Well, that was an episode. That sure was.
Yeah.
I'd like to move on to the next one, and I'd like to preface it with this. The next one is called The A Word. And I'm gonna... Controversial opinion. I think this is my favorite one so far.
Oh, it's pretty good.
I really like this episode.
I can't agree.
I know.
Like, maybe you can elucidate it for me, but like, these two episodes were perfect for each other because it was just a back-to-back butt kicking for me of just like having to like sift through like the discomfort of these two episodes. First, like, just a weight gain episode with, like, animals eating human food. That was discomforting for me.
Hey, quick question.
This episode, broaches the sensitive topic of saying insensitive words that might not seem offensive to you, but are offensive to other people who you don't relate to.
I feel like this is just a topic that should not touch this concept of an animal school.
Especially not because
like, I think that's just bad.
It's a really bad look.
It's okay. I will say, as much as I did like this episode, mostly because I thought it was really funny. I agree with what you're saying, though. Like, I don't think they should have touched this topic at all. Like, even
but that's
a little
kind of
bit.
What makes it such a tantalizing fruit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the fact that this episode exists that makes it kind of a spectacle, and I think we should just get into it.
Yeah. I think this is another one of those episodes where, as I was watching it, I was like, I've seen this before. Like, I know this episode. It was in my childhood, and especially towards the end. So Adam is in school, and he's got a poster. It's for Jake, and he's just like so excited to give him this poster. It's a poster of like some rock star girl named Truffles, I think.
Yeah,
Truffles Duvall.
She's so cool, and he's like, oh, I got this signed poster, and I don't know how he got it, but he has it, and he's bringing it to Jake, and
he loves Truffles Duvall, as we know.
Yeah, Jake loves this pop star,
and like, Adam is just like, oh, I'm gonna be the best friend ever to give Jake this. He's gonna absolutely go crazy for it.
This feels like the first episode where Adam like talks about Jake like a friend.
Like, where like Adam like sincerely wants to be nice to Jake.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, like he's making the effort here, where usually it's just Jake coming up to Adam and saying something stupid and then hijinks ensue.
And then like Jake like illustrating that he can't live without Adam for some reason as well.
For some reason. Adam, distracted by his amazing gift, runs right into our shark buddy, Bull
Sharkowski.
And he has a problem with Adam. Adam bumped into him.
Uh-oh. Not good.
No good. So, what happens? Oh no! The poster gets all fucked up.
Oh, Adam gets all fucked up.
Yeah, Adam like disregards the poster thing entirely. He gets messed up, like, and like, instead of like telling Jake about like the situation, like he gets beaten up and then like knocked straight into the direction of Jake's spider monkey.
And he looks dead.
But actually,
Jake is listening to some music.
Yeah, before that. Jake is listening to some music.
I wish I could find
the ball. I think, but like he's setting up basically how much he loves Truffles Duvall.
All of a sudden,
he's got like a shrine in his locker, and he goes to kiss the shrine of Truffles Duvall, who is mind you, a human.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. Do you think that like animal-human relationships are acceptable in society?
Well,
it was just a quick thing of like, Jake having a crush on this like thing, but like it presents a lot of questions that like quick, like him kissing this poster. It's like, you know, does does he does he get crushes on human girls?
Do humans and animals get
does
together?
does he have a crush on Adam Lyon?
Oh my god,
You
it all
know-
makes sense.
I didn't want to mention that, but like, I was thinking that all throughout this because like, Truffle looks not like, like almost exactly similar to Adam, but just enough that it makes you think.
Yeah, they have the same hair color and like skin tone and stuff. They look like
Skin tone and like
Truffles looks like a
the-
bad gender bend of Adam Lyon.
They have freckles,
Yeah.
and
Well, that's about it.
middle school crushes. That's how it goes.
Yes.
But so Adam gets knocked into the general direction of Jake, knocked out. But then he wakes up and he's just furious that Bull Sharkowski just beat him up out of the blue. He doesn't even like remorse the fact that like the poster was gone. Like he's just like upset that this happened to him.
yeah, that
he
doesn't
got-
matter right now.
No, because
Uh,
Adam is so upset, and and Jake's like, "Oh, what happened?" And Adam explains what happened. He's like, "Oh, I just got beat up," and Jake's like, "Why?" He's like, "Cause I ran into Bull Sharkowski."
He's just
And-
like, what'd you do? What'd you do to him? I
Yeah,
didn't do
yeah.
anything.
like I think what we're like omitting here is that like Jake kind of like keeps like asking like what's wrong, like he like it's because like Adam like caught Jake while he was like embarrassingly like being all into Truffles Duval and stuff. And so like Jake like quickly changed the subject and was like, so what's happening to you? And then you see Adam like building up his frustration that Jake isn't like listening to what he's saying about how he got beat up by Bull Sharkowski.
Yes, and then Adam, and all his rage, and he's so mad.
He's so mad he has a PewDiePie moment.
It's an epic gaming
He,
moment.
he has an epic gaming.
Oh,
Heated gaming moment here because Adam, he goes, "Yeah, Bulk Sharkowski totally went ape on me."
and that is the titular A word.
And hey, and then this happens. You. What did you just say? He went ape on me. He went ape on me.
Yeah, he just like so Adam like Jake is visibly hurt by this, but Adam doesn't realize it, and he just thinks that Jake is like not getting the hint, and he just keeps repeating, "Bull went ape on me." Keeps repeating the A word, and like Jake runs off crying.
Oh, Jake
visibly,
is
like,
Jake is
really
so
hurt.
upset. This is Jake is like legitimately upset here. Like he starts like tearing up, and then he's like lip wobbles, and he's like so upset. He's like, "That's what I thought you said," and he like runs off, and he's crying like legitimately.
He is literally heartbroken. You get a shot of his heart just shattering like glass. He's that heartbroken.
It's so sad.
And then Adam's like, "Wow, that was weird." It's no joke. That's just how he plays it off. It's like,
He's just like, what's with him? Like, completely forgetting about, like, him wanting to be, like, a good friend or anything like that. Like, I guess that just doesn't fucking matter. Like, when, something doesn't go Adam Lyon's way, ooh, I gotta talk about it. Like, I can't have any time for Jake.
so then
and Ingrid and Lupe walk up because they're here. They're quite prominent in this episode, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that. Like we get a good look into like Ingrid's like disposition, and she, bless her, I can't say this enough. Bless her, she's the best part about this episode because she's just speaking the truth, and she has such a sensitive soul
Oh,
that
she's so sensitive.
It's a very sensitive giraffe.
so like Adam's just like, God, I don't know what happened. He just like started crying all of a sudden when I said those words, and then like Lupe responds like, you gotta be careful around him. He is
Yeah.
muy sensitivo. You know.
He's like, yeah, I couldn't be Jake's best friend. He's such a crybaby. He's so sensitive. Special snowflake.
Yeah, he's such a little snowflake.
They're being jerks.
They're being really bad.
But Ingrid is not.
Ingrid is fine.
So she says, well, I don't really understand, but maybe he was upset because you said going ape. You should apologize and like try and talk to him about it. Bless her heart.
And then Adam verbatim responds like, why would he be offended by that?
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Like
maybe he has the problem. Maybe it's his fault.
I went into this episode thinking like, Adam was probably like, not like super like insensitive in this episode, and he was like, pretty like rightful about like, being angry, but this it's just sickening to watch that Adam is just so insensitive about this.
Like, and right before that, he was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the best friend." Like, I don't get it. I don't understand the fucking like kind of dynamic that they're trying to like make us see. It's just like, is it that Adam's a bastard?
Maybe I think like like when we get to like the bit where like with Jake, I want to like touch upon it because I think like I have a reasoning, like not an intended reasoning, but just
an excuse.
That's what you call them.
Because Adam, he goes to find Jake because he's like, fine, I'll apologize, whatever. And
I'll apologize to the drama queen.
Yeah. Thanks, Adam, I guess. And he goes and finds Jake, and Jake's sitting like on a football field, like in the field goal post, and he's just like, hey, Adam, I see you're here, and Adam offers up this kind of like apology, but he's also kind of like rolling his eyes at the same time, like, I'm sorry, blah blah blah.
I
sorry I hurt your feelings.
And
I'm sorry if you felt offended. That's not what he says, but like
he might as well have said that.
So Jake is like still upset, like he's still crying, and he's holding like a football, and he says, this is my new best friend, little Pedro Pigskin.
Pedro Pigskin.
Which is another quandary of itself that we won't get into.
And Adam is like, I'm saying sorry. What more do you want from me? And then Jake, who has drawn a little face on this football, is like, what's that, Pedro? You want to defend my honor? And then he just knocks Adam out with the football.
And after this, there's the weirdest cut. It's so weird. Was it weird when you guys saw it? Because it was weird for me. Like, it was like Adam gets knocked out, and then it kind of fades to black, and then it slowly fades back, and it's like
I don't know.
Weirdly quiet.
I think it's appropriate to like show like the passage of time that he got knocked out for a real long time.
Yeah,
it did, long enough for Jake to print a bunch of flyers about wanting a new best friend.
Yeah, he wakes up and there's like a flyer on his face, and he's like, what is this? And it's like, want to be my new best friend? Like, come audition. And he's like, what the hell is this?
This was the Jake thing I was talking about earlier, but like I want to get into like, what this episode means to me, like when we get to the real like the best friend auditions thing. But yeah, so like Adam like walks around and he sees all these posters just strewn about, and he's like, man, I guess he's really serious about this, huh?
Yeah, and Ingrid and Lupe are also in line for becoming like auditioning, and they just kind of start roasting Adam. They're like, how could you be so insensitive?
It's just like, you really hurt him this time.
Like the words that Ingrid uses is just like so like biting, but so like accurate. It's just like, you really hurt his feelings. You weren't there for him. You all you had to offer him when he was sad was just insensitivity and insincere apologies.
Yeah, Ingrid was not messing around there, and Adam starts crying. Like he's like,
Yeah, the worst friend in the world. He sounds sick.
yeah, he's like,
And like this is the moment where I think I would think like he finally gets in and is like, yeah, you you were kind of doing bad here, and I was like, things are looking up here. Like, maybe he's gonna try to win Jake back in a real earnest way.
so, uh, there's this, what's his face, the Henry.
Yeah,
Armadillo. Armadillo,
Henry.
he's back and he's auditioning to be Jake's best friend, and he's like, "Oh, I don't have many friends. I could be yours."
I'll lick your boots whenever you want me to.
He's a little.
I'll do anything. I don't got anybody.
He's just like, you can kick me around, like I could act like a ball for you, and I got all the time for you, all the time.
And Jake just has this like look on his face.
He's like super not interested, and then a zebra comes in and is like, "I got you this like tank top from like a Truffles concert. Yes, we're bringing her back into the story because she's
Because she's integral to Jake's character.
Yeah, now she's very integral to Jake's character, and Adam is like watching from over his shoulder, and like Jake is like blatantly ignoring him, and Adam's like, "Oh, that's it. If I can get that poster back from Bull, then I can win I can win Jake back. This is the perfect plan."
All right. I want to talk about this here. So this starts out with like Adam wanting to like get this like poster for Jake, right? This Truffles do Fall poster, but this isn't. He doesn't word it in a way that's like, oh, this will make him really happy. Like he says that, but like he's like, this will make me the best friend ever.
Like it's just like it's not like a way to be like. He's not saying it because he wants to be like, okay, I really want to do something nice for Jake. It's just like, if I do this, my like he's just another social link in my game of Persona 4 or whatever.
I actually think that like Jake might be some sort of like social powerhouse in Charles Darwin Middle School, because like in the last episode, as soon as Jake approved something, as soon as he approved the human food, like everyone else started eating it. So I think
he's like the jock, because he is the star quarterback of the football team.
You're not wrong.
God, I guess he is. Do you think like, Adam became his friend like the same way that Jake is presenting in this episode? Like Adam auditioned.
He's like, I'm a rarity. I'm the only human in this school. You have to be my friend.
Who knows? But like I wanted to say that like not only is Adam like pretty self-centered in this episode, but I mean this whole like friendship audition that Jake's doing. Like Adam's not the only one here with some vice, because like Jake just like he's like, what do you have to offer me? What do you have to offer me to be my friend? And like I thought like that zebra was like really nice. Like he got that like rare limited edition like Truffles Duval tank top, and like Jake was like just like cooing and like awing about it, but like then he never gets mentioned again. And Jake is just like lamenting, like, "Oh, I'll never find a best friend."
It's like that dude just gave you like a really like important item to you,
and he seemed really sincere about it. He's like, "Oh, I got you this Truffles Duval tank top."
So I want to talk about Coach Gill, because Coach Gill's in this episode. So,
oh, Coach Gill, bless her heart.
So she's in line to audition, and she's like, I can be your friend, and Jake's like, I don't think we really have much in common. I don't really like sports, and I'm also way younger than you. So.
Also, he doesn't really like sports.
But like he's the star football team. I don't know. But like, so Jake is like, mind you, Coach Gill is also like, trying to play this off as like, I got tons of friends. Like Horace just like wheeled me here because he thought this would be good for me. But then like when she gets turned down, she visibly like cries and the tears like float up in bubbles. You're like, well, All right.
I guess
You
we
know,
can.
that's fine.
We'll hang out sometime. I guess.
Horace, wheel me back to the gym.
At least she has Horace.
I love
At
Horace.
least. I like Horace too.
So after that, Adam is back, and he has wrestled the off-screen wrestled the poster out of Bull's hands. He's gotten it back. It's torn up to pieces, but he still slaps it on the little booth table that like Jake has set up, and Jake like takes a look at it and he's like, "How could you?" And Adam's like, "What? What's wrong?" And Bull has graffitied on the poster and like drawn like a mustache on Truffle and wrote like "I hate Truffle" on it, and
Girl powers thing. I feel like we glossed over girl power.
we need to talk about girl power.
We need to talk about girl power right now.
Rewind earlier in the episode when Jake was fawning over Truffles Duvall, and then Adam walks in and Jake's like, "You need to show some girl power, you know." And
Adam was just like, "Did you just say girl power?" Like he doesn't get it. He thinks down on women.
Yeah.
He's sexist. He doesn't believe that women have any sort of power at all. Adam doesn't think women have power.
And then Jake corrects himself. He's like, "No, not girl power." And he's got the eyelashes and everything. "No, girl power." And it's GRRRL. Girl power. And it's like a thing that Truffles Duvall says, I guess.
It's like a catchphrase or whatever. Anyway, I really want a shirt on it that says "Girl Power."
I want a shirt with Truffles Duvall on it.
Me too.
I want to be a fan of Truffles Duvall. Even though, like, I think the only music we've heard of her is from Jake's mouth.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately.
So we're back in the present. They're still fighting because of this. Cause Jake is stupid, and Adam's like trying to be like, no, Bull wrote that. I didn't write that. But Jake's not listening. So Adam is like, what am I gonna do? And Adam looks awful, by the way, because he's like been beaten up again.
He got beaten up again. I think, did Jake like knock him back?
Yeah, like Jake hit him or something. I forget. Because like what I have here in my notes is I wrote.
No, wait. It was like he was like, "Wait, Jake, come on, please!" But then an elephant like throws him around. He's like, "Quit holding up the line."
Yeah, he throws it, and I've written here, like I wrote in one bullet point, I said Adam looks like shit. The next bullet point is Bull fucks up the poster, and then my next one is Adam is in rough shape. Like he does not get a break in this episode.
Adam is just in rough shape.
And he has to resort to his last ditch effort, and he's like, what could possibly be better than all of these other gifts? Like,
speaking of, but like the way he gets this idea, he gets knocked out again. Ingrid and Lupe, and no, I love this. Perfectly surmises like the point I want to make here. Lupe just like says, "Can't you take no for an answer?"
Like, oh my god, that's a wow. Like burning Adam. Like Adam kind of has a Frasier complex where like when Adam, yeah, I'm gonna talk about Frasier in our My Gym Partners podcast, but he has this thing where like when a woman. Sorry, that's more Frasier, but when somebody.
Choose your words here.
Yeah, when somebody is mad at Adam Lyon, he seems to be a kind of person who will not stop until he has like confirmation that they are not mad at him anymore.
Yeah.
And like he can't stand the idea of somebody just being upset with him. He needs to have resolve, and it's not necessarily because he wants the other person to like feel better. It's because he can't feel good knowing that somebody else like is upset because of him.
That perfectly encapsulates it. And
yeah.
It's just, and like in this middle school setting, it's just perfect because middle school. You make friends just to survive, just to like have someone you hang out with. You may not be like actual friends with them, like you hang out, but you don't feel like such compassion towards them. But it's just someone you hang out with, and it really begs the question: should you keep hanging out with this person if you get this grief and you're just not working out?
Yeah, it just feels like Jake is at least needs some time. Like this feels like just an overreaction to start auditioning people for a new best friend. Adam really should have just like apologized, and if Jake was like, I can't really accept that right now, he should have given him some space, like, wait a day or two and then try and talk about it when he can. But if like Jake is adamant, like, no, I can't forgive you for this, like ever, then Adam should back off and wait for Jake to approach him.
Yeah, I mean that's really the only way that he like could do this. Like, I mean, he's in middle school, I get it, but you gotta learn.
Oh,
You gotta learn at some point.
but he doesn't, because
And
his next
I'm
move.
I'm glad we like discussed this before this, because this is the perfect timing, because
Oh.
rather than lick his wounds and accept that maybe he should either give Jake time, or maybe just like not even be Jake's friend, because their relationship doesn't seem to be working out.
No, it's very unhealthy.
It's really toxic, I gotta say.
But he decides, like, taking Ingrid's words literally. I can't think of nothing short of Truffles Duval convincing him to forgive you, that he'll ever forgive you, Adam.
And so he brings that idea to beautiful fruition as we get a shot of Adam dressed as Truffles, and she's there. It's her. Oh my god.
It's her. I can't believe it. It's Truffles Duval.
And she's got like lipstick and her eyeliner, and it looks beautiful. Like Adam knows his way around a makeup brush. He looks great. So he approaches, and like first we get a shot of Jake, and he's like, oh, is that, oh my gosh. And
He's like, it's you. And then we just get this little dialogue of Adam Lyon being like, hey, Jake, it's me. I'm totally Truffles Duval. And it's like funny, right? Like,
it's so funny.
It's a little funny.
I just like the lines that Adam like says. It kind of feels like they were ad-libbed, like they weren't written.
Yeah, he's kind of like well, I mean, he's struggling to play this part.
The point.
Yeah, he's like trying to be Truffles, but he probably doesn't know too much about her personally, and is like trying to get across this message of, you should totally forgive Adam.
Yeah, like Adam is like really cool and just wants you to know that like he loves you and stuff.
So you should like forgive him.
And then Jake, suspicious of course, finally
he smells the air.
Like a dog.
Keeps backing Adam up to a wall until Jake like knocks him down and is like, yeah, you're not the real Truffles Duval, and then rips out his hair extensions to reveal it was Adam Lyon the whole time.
No way.
And Adam Lyon is so mad that he had to dress up like a girl.
Oh boy.
He's so upset.
He's like, I had to dress up like a girl. And Jake is like, so here's where we get kind of their reveal, because Adam is like, why can't you accept my apology? I didn't know that going ape was an insult. Why won't you accept? Like, why would you accept it?
And if y'all didn't, like, who have been listening to this podcast and like have been watching the episodes along with us, y'all expect a fake out?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Here it is. Here's the fake out.
It wasn't an insult. It's the ultimate monkey compliment.
What? I had to dress up like a girl?
Because you wanted a compliment?
Yeah, so Jake reveals here that he wasn't mad because, like, going ape is like, I don't even know if it's appropriate to call it a slur, but like an insult. But that Adam used that word, that phrasing, towards Bull Sharkowski when, like, you know, he's never used that towards Jake, who guess felt left out and jealous by it, and Adam is pissed. He's like, you made me do all this shit.
So.
Adam doesn't want to be Jake's friend anymore. Like, actually,
it just ends with like Adam walking off and Jake like groveling, like apologizing, saying, "I'm really, really sorry," and Adam's like, "I really, really don't care."
I really, really don't care.
And like we end on Coach Gill, who's just like, "Wait, now Adam doesn't have a best friend. Horace, quickly, like wheel me after them."
You want to go to the malt shop? That was funny. I think it's really
that
fun.
was funny. Coach Gill, like that was really funny. I'm appreciative of that. All right, I'll be honest. There were some funny moments in this episode.
That's my. Let me justify me liking this episode. I'm gonna sound like an asshole probably, but like, okay, we can all agree. Most sensible people would agree that the overarching like message of this episode is not good, right?
It's very bad.
What I enjoyed about this episode was I thought that the antics of Adam trying to get in Jake's good favors again were very funny and like enjoyable to watch. And even though the like dress up as a girl haha funny joke is like really yikes. Like
very not good, but I get where you're coming from, and I agree that, like, you know, there is like a degree of like like the absurd lengths that like Adam is going through just to like save this friendship and is getting beaten up. But at the same time, for me, it's just uncomfortable. Like,
that's fair.
Seeing like Adam like going through these lengths just like to try to like make Jake accept him as a friend again when like you know, like it ends with like Adam just like breaking off the friendship, and it doesn't continue after that. Like, of course, the next episode is gonna be, you know, them like, you know, business as usual. They're friends again. But this episode really illustrates why their friendship doesn't work.
there's no happy conclusion here. There's no.
This isn't like, you know. This isn't like a good like friendship that they can both mutually get like, you know, happiness out of. They're both selfish. They're both thinking about themselves, only worrying about material possessions.
They're both
that,
idiots.
Like, the other can give them. They just they're dumb. Jake especially is dumb.
Yeah, this is like, and it's funny how like he. Like at the end here when he's like trying to explain to Adam like the true meaning of going ape, there's not really a lot of like negative emotions in it. He's not like crying and being like, no, going ape is a compliment. He's just like, oh, going ape is flips. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, going ape is a compliment, didn't you know?
All the tension is relieved, and it's just like it's meant to be a pie in the face gag.
Yeah,
where it's like, oh, it was a compliment all along. But
it's almost like Jake was just kind of fucking with Adam.
He might have been
this whole entire time.
It could have been as well. That, you know, that's like, I wanted to go on this podcast because I wanted to, like, you know, illustrate some of the messages that this show sent out without fully intending to. And, you know, that's one of the things. It could just be Jake was fucking with him, and it's just another like thing illustrating the theme of this show, that Adam Lyon does not fit in this school, and he is miserable, and he will always be miserable for the entire time he's here, at least until the 8th grade.
So we watched these 2 episodes. Some pretty strong negative feelings towards them, and
me especially.
Yes, and understandably so. But I'm liking where this is heading. I think that there's so much to. At first I wasn't sure how much we could talk about, like the concepts of this school, but it keeps introducing these just absolutely wild ideas, and it's just...
Wild, you say?
Whoa. So I think there's much more to come, and just going by the next set of episode titles, we have season 1 episode 4A is Shark Attack. And then
I wonder who's gonna be in that episode.
And then the next one is Me, Adam, You, Jake.
Oh, I can't wait for that
Me,
one.
Adam, Jake.
So
I can't wait for that one because that's an episode that actually has Miss Chameleon in a big role.
Oh, we
And
haven't
I
had to
like
see
her.
much of her. We saw like a shot of her from like the first episode of this set, but
We saw her fall off a branch because she was too big.
Yeah. We can't, lest we forget. Chew on this.
yes, we can
So
never
soon.
forget. I will never forget. Do you think? Hey.
Hmm?
Do you think? Do you think someone got into like fat first time from watching that episode?
That's what I
an
was hinting at
unfortunate-
earlier.
That's an unfortunate thing to bring up, but
We
hey,
gotta mention it.
we gotta talk about it. I mean, like,
And the answer is yes.
I've had a fun time today. I hope you two have had a fun time today.
Oh, I
I've
did.
had fun. I didn't know how well I would be for this podcast today, but you know what? I think I did it.
Good.
I'm glad you were here.
Good
I'm
on
glad
that.
we had this podcast episode
It's-
because I it was just nice to really go the video essayist way of just over explaining this show's themes. It's been a fun episode.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you're doing this with me and I don't have to do it alone.
Anyway, I hope you guys are looking forward to my call up post that I'm about to type up about Adam Lyon and how everyone should stop following him on Twitter and stuff because
Because he hates women.
he hates
We'll
women.
see you next episode.
Well, anyway, this has been my Gym Partners
Bye,
podcast.
everybody.
I'm Lucy.
I'm Gert.
And unfortunately, I'm Renee.
Why are
See
you?
ya.
Wait, what the fuck? Okay.